The following video is brought to you by Repzion, the long-awaited response. I can't believe I'm making this video. 10 years in the making. And I know it's been way over 10 years, but I had to get this off my chest once and for all. So the following video is about the time I went to Vloggerfair. So basically, a couple months before Vloggerfair, rest in peace Vloggerfair, I noticed a tweet. This tweet on his Twitter/X account, his old account, basically, it struck a nerve with me. And it had to do with the fact that he was displeased with VidCon 3 years prior to when he was putting this tweet out in 2015. And in the tweet, he was mentioning about how VidCon is not my thing. And by the way, the following's like this. VidCon is not my thing. Comic-Con, PAX Prime, blah, 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 blah. It's exactly what he said in that tweet before it was deleted from the face of the earth because he had deleted his original Twitter/X account. Now he just goes by darthhpotato with an extra H, just because George Lucas would actually claim his ass. But at the same time, it's just like, how are you going to sit there and dog on an event that you did not like? However, you had to be spiteful in fact that everybody talking about it, and then you go and you get all butthurt over it, and you respond with this. It's just pathetic. And then when I went to actually respond to his tweet with, maybe you shouldn't be saying all this because it might make you look bad. And then his response was, make my look bad? What? Literally, I just wanted to go, wow. Way to let your dyslexia get the best of you. By the way, I found out recently you were diagnosed with autism, and I'm going to say this. Just because you got recently diagnosed with autism does not mean you're part of the autistic family. Being diagnosed recently does not mean anything. I was diagnosed as a child. I had to live with this for years. It doesn't define me. But however, people think with autism, oh, they're bad luck. Oh, they're a problem. Oh, they're a dangerous individual. Maybe if people would actually do their research more. There are times when basically an autistic person could go into sensory overload, or they can have a mental breakdown or a total meltdown, you know? And sometimes when they're overwhelmed, they start freaking out. But in the end of the day, if you don't do your research, you won't understand that's what happens in a life of an autistic person. Sometimes I feel like I'm overwhelmed and I need to slow down and try to catch my breath for a second. Because I know for a fact that anybody who actually, matter of fact, thinks that autism is a curse doesn't really realize that we're actually pretty smart. Just because we have autism does not mean we're not bright people. We actually have a very good imagination. We also know that we actually have our sights set on the future. But, dude, when he posted this tweet and I said, make my look bad? Don't you mean make you look bad? That's when it became the first of many blocks out of 5. And the total of unblockings is 5. Are you joking? Okay, so now I got to get to this segment And basically, this was the day of the event. So I go to Seattle the day of the event, 3 weeks after I just got my bike stolen. And after my bike lock was actually bolt cutted in broad daylight. I'm dealing with the fact that I just lost my bike from 3 weeks before. And I'm trying to figure out where to go because it's my first rodeo by myself in Seattle. I don't know the roads that well. So I had to walk around to see where I was going. Couldn't figure out where this place was. It took me 30 minutes to an hour to figure out where it was. Then I was like, oh. I just kept walking by it like 2 or 3 times. I was like, what the heck? There's no way to know where this place is. And then I found out it was right there at the Seattle Expedition Hall. It was right there in front of my face. It's just there was no way to get to it because they had it all fenced off with security fencing and all that stuff. Not that it was a huge fence. It was like those security barriers. So I had to go walk around just to get in line. And I mean, I had just got there way before anybody else and just walked by it like 2 or 3 times. And there was people in line by then. And I was like, how do you not have an organized event where I could basically find this event and be able to be in line before anybody else? I just stand in line. I wait there for almost a half an hour. Finally, they open the doors around 9 in the morning, which they were going to start opening the doors anyways. They don't usually start until like 9:30, so they let us in 30 minutes before. I got my bracelet on. It's not like VidCon where they basically give you a badge and a bracelet. They just gave me a bracelet. They didn't put a badge on me or nothing. It was just weird. Usually if you're going to do a convention, you might want to do a bracelet and a badge. Just a suggestion. I mean, I don't think Chris Pearl knew what he was doing when he was running this event. But I go down the stairs to my right. I go to my left. Then I look down to my left. And there's a whole retro gaming center. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I'm it's like I'm a kid in a candy store. And my eyes are just open like, whoa. And this was so amazing to show up at this event and be like, wow, this is so cool. There was a lot going on, believe it or not. And so I go down there and I go to the first thing I see is the Mega Man arcade game, the fighting arcade game, which has you pit up against the robot masters. And it's a fighting game. It's like, you know, the Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat, Virtual Fighter, Killer Instinct type of game. You know what I mean. But basically, I play that first. I actually am already at the very end, and I beat the whole thing. And it's just fantastic. I had fun playing that. Then I switched over to the Super Nintendo. And I was playing for a bit, and I was trying to, you know, enjoy myself. And then I got bored a bit, so I switched over to another console. And then I later got bored of that as well, so I switched over to the Nintendo 64. And at the Nintendo 64, and I start playing Mario Kart 64, and 2 guys approach me, and they ask me if they could play with me. And I say, sure. I would love to play with you. We did the 50cc course, and we're playing the Star Cup, and the first level is Wario Stadium. And so we're playing Wario Stadium, we're racing through the tracks, and basically, at first, I was way behind them, and then I finally got up, and I think I got first place then, and then the second race, I got first place again. The third race, I got first place again. And I think I finished like in second or third in the last one. But I still beat them overall. Because in overall points, I still won. And then we said our goodbyes. And we congratulated each other. And we said good game. And We told each other to have a wonderful day, and we did. And that was that. And so then I go and walk around the event because I'm pretty bored at this point. I don't want to be at the gaming center for too long because I don't want to attract attention to myself. But then I see Repzion just showed up out of the blue early on in the event. And my mind was like, what is going on here? Why is this guy here at Vloggerfair? I thought he did not like these kind of conventions. So my mind was like, wow, this guy is really going to show up to Vloggerfair of all places. And he even advertised he was going to Vloggerfair. And this really upset me a bit 3 days before the event happened. And I tried to ignore him as much as I could. But I thought maybe I should listen to his fans' request. And personally, I tried to do the best I could. I tried to approach him. I got a little wary and I thought, nah, I shouldn't probably ask him at all. I tried to go up to him again, but then I said, why am I doing this to myself? I should just ignore him. Third time was a big mistake because it made me look more guilty than anything. But I was trying to get the courage to ask him, and then I just virtually got ignored. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm done trying to reason with him. So I just wanted to ignore him the whole time. And so I did my best. And then he's acting like I was trying to film everything, including himself, and that wasn't the case. And I thought, and I see him and his 3 friends actually hanging out the gaming console on the N64, and they're playing for a whole hour. So then my thing was like, what is going on here? This guy says he hates VidCon and video conventions, but he shows up at a video convention for travel vlogs and daily vlogs? Are you joking? So, pretty much, I let it be that. Then I noticed Brian Lanning on stage singing a song. I'm thinking, why is he singing at an event for daily and travel vlogs when in fact that would be VidCon would be a better event or playlist at the time before they shut their doors around 2021, 2022. But then after his performance, and I thought it was the most amazing song he actually performed, and I know he's a family vlogger, but he had an amazing voice, and I think that showed that he has some talent. But for the fact that, but then I thought about it, and so I went to go see Charles Trippy. So I went to see Charles Trippy, and I said hi. I never really watch vlogs, so basically, I used to watch some of his comedy stuff. He's appeared in Onision stuff in the past, but I just wanted to say hi to him, And I did. I took pictures with him. I basically, it was with his new wife, Ellie Westberg, and basically, I had to wait it out to see, and I know this is messed up in me at the time. I took a picture with Shay Carl. This is 2 years before he got caught with that e-girl, Nina Aria. And believe it or not, and this is before he got caught with that e-girl, Nina. And basically, this is at the height of their Shay Tards vlogs, and they were going to take a year-long break. But let's go back to the subject of the whole thing at Vloggerfair the whole time I was there. And after I went back to the N64 to play a little bit by myself, I noticed a young boy. He was probably 9 or 10. He approached me, and I don't know if he maybe wanted to play by himself or he wanted me to move or something, but He didn't say nothing to me at all. And then all of a sudden, a guy approaches me and he accuses me of being on a console for a whole hour. What the fuck? Are you joking? So someone ratted on me to get me all riled up. And that had to have been Repzion. Because there was no way that I was on one console for a whole hour. I was on multiple consoles for a whole hour, and I'll admit that. But it wasn't on just one console, I was on multiple. So in turn, when I got accused of that, that's what irritated me too. And I just felt like it was just injustice for myself. When I tried to speak to the guy, he made it all about, how this person said you were on a whole console for a whole hour, you were hogging it up, and what a piece of shit. Like, I would have sit there and listen to this guy go at me while I basically was trying to explain to him what was going on, really. And they're like, well, there's no excuse. You shouldn't be by yourself. And I wasn't by myself for a whole hour playing a console by myself. This is just somebody who basically wanted to get me kicked out. And I was furious. And at this point, I was still fuming. And not using my head properly. I went into a full-blown meltdown. And I just basically was trying to do a sketch, and they saw I was putting a wig on, and Repzion mocked me for, possibly putting on a wig and doing a show. And he had the other three dudes laughing at me the whole time. And that was including you too, Rocket Elijah. So don't act like you weren't laughing at me. So in the end of the day, I got mocked by three other people besides Repzion. And I'm not letting that fly. But after a while, I go to the line. I go wait behind everybody. And I'm still fuming. I'm still angry a little bit. I'm still trying to get my composure back. And I'm in the line. My phone's almost dead at one point because I forgot to charge it during the whole event. And basically, I thought I heard somebody tell me to shut up at one point. And I found out it was actually Sam Ryder telling Cullen from Cullen and Katie to shut up because Cullen had tweeted out a guy who had called out Sam and Nia for faking their pregnancy. And imagine my shock when I found that out later. And I also found out the guy that was trying to get my attention, Austin Null, who was vlogging at Vloggerfair while he was there that year in 2015, had cheated on his wife with a mistress. And then 2 years after that, months after Shay Carl was caught explicitly sending texts to an e-girl, Austin Knowles cheated on his wife again. And now the Knife Knowles channel, that was a family vlogging channel, has been rebranded to Brit Space. And that channel has been losing subs to this very, very day. And then I found out Austin Knoll was actually at VidCon this year. I'm like, what? What the hell is he doing at VidCon? I thought he wasn't going to be a part of social media anymore. What's going on here? Maybe he was part of some management team. Who knows? I met Shay Carl, and at the time, I had this Windows phone, so it was a crappy phone. You couldn't see yourself because there wasn't a front-facing camera. And thank you to Shay's brother, Logan, for actually taking the picture of me and Shay when Shay had lost a bunch of weight and he was looking good at the time. It gets to you. After I was done meeting up with Shay Carl, I decided I got to go charge my phone because my phone was about to die. And then I felt really uneasy, and I kept hearing conversations back and forth about what was going on. I didn't have no idea. And there was a part where Shay Carl was talking to somebody, and they're like, someone was, and it was like, and so I thought, uh-oh, some drama just happened. I better head out. I don't want to get involved because basically I don't know what happened. But then after I found out what really happened, that became scandalous in the Christian community because Sam Ryder had made an Ashley Madison account just to cheat on his wife. And that just still lingers in my head. But anyways, after all that, did I have a great experience at Vloggerfair that year? It was an okay experience. Did I have a great experience at the next one? They had it at the Vera Project. It wasn't a big event. Same kind of people, except for Shay wasn't there that year. I think him and Colette were probably having marital problems. He was also probably drunk and texting that e-girl way before he got caught doing it. Yeah. So that pretty much what it was. Yeah. I feel like Vloggerfair could have been a better event if it had been managed or organized better, but yeah, it is what it is. Like, this guy during the event called me a stalker. And all he could have done was, and all he could make excuses, oh, but I was just only doing it because I felt it was kind of ridiculous to actually undermine him. You motherfucker. Not only your fans made me look bad, but you also made me look bad. Not only the guy that actually had followed me on Twitter/X at one point, but the dude unfollowed me after the event. Or actually during the event. And I'm talking about you too, Rocket Elijah, you instigating piece of shit. You want to sit there and actually follow me, and you were following more people than you were getting followed by. By the way, you wonder who I'm talking about. By the way, this guy, Rocket Elijah, used to go by the name Dolphin Phobia on social media. He used to have a channel on YouTube called Dolphin Phobia. He had to stop posting on it because he had to make a channel alongside a bunch of his friends, his so-called friends, Rocket Sloth. But this channel alone is the most annoying channel you can ever go to. It's not even close to being the best channel on YouTube either. But by golly, when this dude, after the event, accused me of stalking him, that's when I went off. And for years, I've had to deal with people in the backlash of all this because of what happened to me during this event. Now, I can understand if he felt uncomfortable with talking to me, but if you said you had no idea who I was a dude who responded to your tweet. And after a while, after you got mad over the fact that you messed up on your own grammar, and you were trying to correct my grammar, you blocked me. And I have no problem if you just admitted you screwed up and acknowledged, yes, I did screw up, and I apologize, and that would have been fine. But you never did. And then when I see comments like this one, accusing me of being racist. And by the way, race baiting should not be your thing, Repzion. If you're leaving this kind of comment on my page, and I'm talking about my music page, by the way, not this page. This is Rudgetti Warriors. The other page he was commenting on was my music page called Rudget Films Entertainment. And on that page, it was a video that I uploaded of my friend's music. And yes, I had to make it into a remix because of copyright situations, because there's been people stealing and jacking music beats, like Kungati, who basically stole my friend's music for slipping and sliding with a then unknown R&B singer called Pearls R&B, which she used to be online, but she stopped posting after a while. I guess, it got to her, and I guess she felt that the pressure was too much for her, and I guess she just stopped. And that is pretty sad. She was a very talented singer, but that's not the point. The point is that there is a lot going on social media nowadays, and to have Repzion race baiting and accusing me of using a racial slur, it's enough. It's enough to make my blood boil. And I'm done with that. So, if you're going to still keep leaving comments from your gaming page or your main page, expect me to retaliate. Because I ain't Tommy NC 2010. I'm not going down without a fight, dude. I'm not going to be like him. I'm not going to sit there and cry over some hateful comments or hateful people. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, do yourself a favor and click the like button. Leave a comment below the screen. Please subscribe to this channel, as Rich Eddie Warriors is here to stay. Please click the notification bell for new content coming to this channel. Support the cause at patreon.com/Rich Eddie Warriors by Rich Films. And until next time, peace and subscribe. And I would be hoping for an apology, but I know that ain't going to come out of Repzion's mouth.